Flynn, thank you so much for being here. It is day 129 in a row of the income stream. If you're brand new here, make sure you hit subscribe. My name is Pat Flynn, here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. We've had the chat here, many whom have been in here for almost 129, if not all 129 days straight. So this is a community that's friendly, it's safe. Please contribute, please communicate. And if you're watching the replay, use the hashtag team replay in the comments so that I know you're watching this later. Anyway, happy Sunday, everybody. I felt compelled. Today I felt compelled to do something a little bit different. And you gotta listen to your gut. You gotta just, wherever your energy is, oftentimes that's what you have to listen to. And today what I'm gonna do is share with you live and demonstrate 5 different things that are going to help you in your business in kind of all sorts of different ways. They're gonna help you generate more ideas. They're gonna help you find out more information about your target audience. And these are just things that have been on my mind, and they aren't necessarily worth their own individual video. So I just wanted to put them in here for you as a resource and to hopefully help you on a Sunday. We normally do weekend website reviews where we review somebody's YouTube channel and or business and website, but a lot of this stuff is going to help you in regards to that as well. So welcome in, chat, say hello to your friends here. Thanks so much. And as always, welcome to the income stream. Here we go.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. There's a couple super chats that have come in, some early. Prominent with 100. Thank you so much for your super chat and your prayers and best wishes for everybody. Hey, Archer in the house. Thank you so much for the super chat from you, my friend. I appreciate you. Happy Sunday, everybody. Fun will now commence says, awesome topic. I'm glad you are excited. And happy Sunday, Jen. Good to see you. We got Just Samson in the house saying hello to Jonathan. We got Grandma Goody in the house. We got Jennings. We got Cheryl. We got Sean. I'm so excited for this because creativity is my niche and what I've been studying for a PhD. Awesome. Well, I hope I can deliver for you guys today. And if not all these things, maybe at least one of these things can be helpful for you and at least capture these ideas so that in the future, as you are trying to get creative with the things that you're doing, you can have a resource to go to. And I'm hoping that I can pull parts of this video out for people in the future because this is going to be a compendium of a bunch of different things that you can do. Also, I wanted to challenge myself. Oftentimes doing things live in front of people, there's a sense of, well, is this gonna work? And there's a little bit of pressure, and I always work well under pressure. So thank you so much again for being here and being a part of this with me. What's up, Gordy? Good to see you here. Manos is in the house. Thank you, Manos. And also for joining me and my son and my daughter on the Twitch channel the other day. And almost every time we go live, I appreciate that. Fantastic. Is everyone's brain ready? Hopefully everybody's brain is ready. I hope I'm ready too. So a lot of these things are going to be quite simple, in fact, and I love taking advantage of the tools we already have access to and just using them in different and creative ways. And in fact, many of you might be able to watch this video and do these along with me, which would be kind of fun. So we're going to share my screen in just a moment, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along. And I have these 5 things ready for us here, and we're gonna just make it happen. So let me share my computer, and I'm gonna see if I can pop up my little screen on the bottom. There we go, perfect. So we can each see me and each other as well. So the first thing actually is gonna be using Twitter. Now I like Twitter as a social media platform just because it's easy, it's quick. I like, especially when I'm getting ideas from my audience, Twitter specifically. You don't have to use Twitter. You might have access to Facebook, or you might be able to do this on Instagram as well. I don't even have a name, for example, for each of these things. These are things that I came up with yesterday that I'd love to share with you. So we might be able to come up with names for these things later, but here is the setup. Let's say that I'm interested in creating content related to video, or perhaps trying to go deeper into video later on. You might have your own niche or something within your niche that you want to develop a course for or do coaching for or anything. If you're trying to do reconnaissance and learn more about your audience, a great way to do this is first, and this is a 2-step process, first understand who is doing that thing already, and then follow up with them and see how we might be able to better help them. So I'm just going to do this live for you right now. And we're going to come back to this and just see how we might engage with these people. So I'm going to go, who here is working on creating videos anytime soon? Or maybe right now. Let me know by hitting reply with your favorite emoji. Now, I like the emoji thing. It's not always required, but let me see if I can zoom in for you. So this is a setup. Who here is working on creating videos? I'm going to put this in all caps anytime soon, or maybe right now. Let me know by hitting reply with your favorite emoji. In fact, chat, you can participate in this too. If you're creating any videos anytime soon, let me know in the chat here just for fun. But this is going to be done specifically on a social media platform, and I'm just going to hit GIF here because I like including GIFs because they capture people's attention, right? So let's see, who might we enjoy putting on here? Probably this Simpsons one's pretty good. Yeah, I'll choose the Simpsons one. People like the Simpsons. And I'm gonna hit tweet. All right, so that's the idea. That's number one. Now, what is this gonna do? Well, you'll see in just a moment. This is a two-step process. So here's the idea. I want people to raise their hand, essentially. And I want them to say, yes, I am doing that. Because then that becomes a great conversation starter when I will then follow up and ask this person questions about what is the biggest struggle that you're having, right? Oftentimes, this is the question that we want to ask publicly to get more information about what we need help with or what we can help with. But the problem is when you ask that publicly, people don't want to share their struggles, I've found. A lot of people don't want to publicly share their struggles in front of everybody else, if that makes sense. So what we can do is just have people share that, and this is giving them an opportunity and permission to do so, share that they are doing something, and then finally reach back out to those people who indeed did raise their hand and then ask them further questions about it. I've used this same strategy when it comes to trying to collect reviews for my podcast. Hey, who here listened to the latest episode of your podcast? What's your favorite part of that episode? Or, hey, did you enjoy that interview with MKBHD? What was the most surprising thing you learned? People raise their hand, they comment with their thing, and then I use a phone, essentially, or it could be desktop as well, but I reach out to those people who commented individually. When you're asking for reviews, this is a really cool thing for your podcast or for books or anything. It's cool because you know that the people who responded are likely people who are going to support you. They are likely people who have enjoyed the book. You can even set up the question in that way. Who here enjoyed reading Superfans? Let me know. I can follow up with them and go, hey, by the way, thank you so much for reading Superfans. Might you have a moment? Just click this link here and leave a quick review for the podcast or for the book or for whatever, right? The two-step process is key. Public, get people to raise their hand. Private, get into the little bit more intimate question, right? Now, if you're doing research, I love doing this too because it allows me to then go a little bit deeper with what people might need help with. And I can actually have a conversation. We've talked about this so many times, right, chat? We need to have more conversations with our target audience. But just simply reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, can I talk to you for 10 minutes about this thing? It's going to be like, wait, what? Like, where did this come from? Versus, hey, do you do video even? Like, what are you doing with video? Cool. What might you need help with? So anyway, we have some answers already, it looks like. Working on color grading in my first video ever, says the traveled tourist. Xenia and Vlada, just Samson. You guys, Martin's in the chat here. Okay, well, you guys are skewing the results a little bit for me. And this stuff will take time already a little bit. But that's okay. That's okay. So I might reach out to Xenia and I might privately message. And I'm going to say, you know, I'm gonna send a private message. I'm not going to get into the private conversations now because there may or may not be stuff. Dude, Samson, what are you doing, man? See how these GIFs stand out? They're much different than other videos or other chats here. Anyway, let's see. Starting live stream tomorrow. Cool. So you can do this privately if you'd like, or publicly. What's cool about doing it publicly is everybody else sees it, but I like doing it privately because it feels a little bit more personal, right? So I'm going to go to Drew, and I'm going to follow Drew really quick, and then I'm going to send him a message. And I'm going to go, let's see. Oh, there we go. Hey, Drew. I see, and I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see what I'm typing down here. I see you're doing a live stream tomorrow. Well done. They can be super fun, but also very nerve-wracking. What are you needing the most help with, you think, related to live streams? So this is a non-aggressive way to ask what they might need help with, right? Whenever you add the you think part, right? That's just a little strategy I've learned. Hey, what do you think you might need the most help with, right? Versus what do you need the most help with, right? It's a little bit less abrasive if you consider that, right? So this is a really fun strategy because you start to actually create real connections. In fact, the second way that I would follow up with Drew or anybody else, let's see if anybody else replied. I don't understand what, but why? Yeah, exactly. Some people on Twitter just reply with, I don't know. But anyway, what I would do with this message from Drew is if he answers, and we'll actually see if he answers. I don't even know if he's here in the chat watching the live stream or not, but you know, what's really cool is I can then now send a video. What's really cool about Instagram and Twitter is they have built-in native video platforms in direct messages. And this would be a great way to start to create a real connection. I can go a little bit deeper. Perhaps I can have a follow-up conversation with Drew, maybe even offline, and maybe even get him interested in, I don't know, if I choose to one day down the road do a course on live streaming or do coaching on it, you know, Drew would be a candidate or at least somebody I could reach out to understand a little bit more about his pains and problems, right? This is just such an easier way to do a little bit more research, to do reconnaissance related to the target audience that you are trying to connect with. And the cool thing is that you might start collecting people who aren't even following you yet once these things, because they're public, and I should have used hashtags. That's the other thing I should have done in my original message here. I create videos all the time for work. Nice, Justin. Let's actually reach out to Justin, follow him, and I'm gonna go and ask Justin the same question. Cool. Since you film videos all the time, I have a random question for you. What's one thing you wish was easier for you in your workflow? I'm shooting a lot of videos myself and am always curious about improving efficiencies. So that's what I'm going to be saying here. All right. So look at this. Drew already replied. Oh, wow, Pat, way cool to hear from you. So again, a neat and different way to make a connection with people. So we'll see if Drew follows up, and we'll go back to this later. So keep sticking around because we're going to go back to this one later. But I have another one. I have another question. Actually, look at this. He's typing right now. Drew is typing at this very moment. We're going to save that for later, y'all, because I'm going to share with you another question that you can ask on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. So that was number one. Who here is working on blank? That's number one. Who here is working on blank? Big hello to everybody who just came in, and especially Dawn and especially Mike, who's watching in China right now with all the ESL community. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you being here. So the next thing that we can do, Drew is a guy. Yes, Drew is a guy who I just reached out to and made this connection that we're talking about. It may take some time. And again, remember, not everybody's on social media at the same time who is following you or who can get access to you. So give it some time to marinate, if you will, when you pop in these questions. But this is research that we're doing to understand more about a specific thing. I asked a question, who here is working on video on Twitter? And now people are replying, and I can follow up with them individually. Remember, public to private. And now I can have those conversations that may not happen in a more public manner because they're a little bit more about individuals' experiences, but I can use that experience in order to help me grow or build or create or get ideas for something, right? So that's number one. Hashtag bruh from William there. Pat, is this just random Twitter chat group? No, this is this a random Twitter chat? No, this is my Twitter account that we were looking at here. And again, I had a conversation with Drew, who said that he is doing video. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, I see you're doing a live stream. What are you nervous about? So that's number one. Here's another question that you can ask that works in a very similar way that you can use to figure out what you could potentially sell as an affiliate. For those of you who don't know, affiliate marketing is sharing and recommending other people or other companies' products that already exist. The beauty of this is these products already exist. And if you just send people through a link related to that product, you can get paid a commission, which is super cool. So here's what we need to know though. Well, where do we even start? How do we know what products to promote, which is the most important thing? Wouldn't it be great if we already knew sort of what products people were already buying? And then that would give us an idea for, okay, well, maybe I should look into that product and promote it to the rest of my audience, right? Instead of just guessing what our target audience is already buying and what might be useful for them, why don't we ask them? So we can ask a very similar question on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our Instagram stories. This is a great place because the Instagram stories, which are publicly blasted, are replied to privately. So you can have a little bit more of a chance of people feeling a little bit more comfortable replying in that sort of manner. So the question to ask would be, and I'm not going to tweet this one out right now because I already did this, but or I already just tweeted something. You don't want to tweet two questions back to back normally. But here is what I would say. What was the last thing you purchased related to video creation that was actually helpful for you? Let me know and share with the community. So this is another prompt that we can use. And I added that last part because it gives some incentive for them to look like a hero in front of the community, if that makes sense, right? So let me know and share with the community, or share your findings with the community. Community. And then again, a GIF. I like including GIFs. They stand out. They take up way more real estate, especially on a person's mobile device. They could take up 50% of a person's feed versus just using this question alone, if that makes sense. So what was the last thing you purchased related to video? You can say spend actual money on, or however you want to phrase it in your own voice, right? But again, the idea here is that they will then share what they've literally purchased, and then I can go and see a list of all the things that my audience is already buying. Maybe I use some of these things, maybe I don't, but there's a second step to this process, which is really cool. So let's say I tweet this. I'm not going to tweet it right now because I already just tweeted another question based on example number 1 here, but I'm going to discard that for now. But let's say I get an answer for, I don't know, a course that I didn't know about, right? Sean Cannell's course, or a book, or a piece of equipment. Now I can actually, let's just pretend it's Sean Cannell's course and I'm friends with Sean, but let's say I wasn't, or it doesn't really matter. But let's say somebody said Sean Cannell's YouTube secrets course, right? I go, oh, that's interesting. I can go now to Sean and go, yo, Sean, Ryan said that he actually purchased your course recently, and Ryan follows me. I a lot of my audience might be really interested in working with you for video. Can we talk? Can we set up some affiliate program? I'd love to help push your stuff out to my audience because a lot of them are already buying. And now that can spur and start a conversation between myself and the person or the company who I could potentially promote for. This, I found, can often lead to getting special deals or special coupons or something more than just the regular affiliates would get. So I love this, again, 2-step process. For Sean is awesome. He is how I found Pat. That's cool. Thanks, Rex. But are we following, chat? Let me know in the chat or replay if you're following along in this process. Again, a 2-step process. What are you buying, everybody? And then finally reaching out to the companies, or at least getting an understanding of what our target audience is already buying. And yes, for those individuals, we aren't going to be making any money because they've already purchased that product. But they are one of several in our audience who might be interested in learning more about that product. I can even reach out individually to that person who said, oh, Sean Cannell's course, and direct message them and go, hey, I see that you were talking about Sean Cannell's course. What about it do you love the most, right? So hopefully you're following along, if that makes sense. Now, I do want to give you an update on this chat with Drew, right? So Drew is somebody who I reached out to related to our first question, which was, who here is working on video related things, right? So here is what Drew recently shared with me. I reached out to him via direct message. He replied publicly, yes, I'm working on live streaming, in fact. And I reached out to him privately and said, "Oh, wow, Pat, cool to hear from you. Hope he doesn't mind that I'm sharing this because I want to help him out at the same time. My show is on my niche expertise. I'm having a bit of difficulty breaking it down for my target audience. I'm partly going live to force myself to figure it out. P.S. I use lots of post-it notes to try to pull it together. Audience is those wanting to start a web business, but they lack an idea. I'm showing you how to use domain names to kick off the process, if that makes sense and answers your questions." So I can answer back and have a conversation with this person about, okay, well, here's some advice or here's some ways that I can help. The way that I would do this, however, is like this. I'm going to go to Twitter now, and I have Drew's message pulled up here, and I'm going to shoot a video reply. So now it's a video. See, now you're seeing yourself there. So I'm seeing myself now, and then I'm going to work and actually offer him some advice, right? All right, so let's see if I can help out Drew here. "Hey, Drew, it's Pat here. In fact, I've actually been live streaming every day for the last 129 days, and I know how nerve-wracking it can feel. You're going to learn a lot just by doing it, and I would try to remain consistent as much as possible. You're going to learn a lot just as you go along. But more than that, just a couple tips for you here as you get started. Make sure that you can clearly define what the reason is a person should be watching all the way through. Mention that at the beginning of your live stream. That's going to hook people in for sure. And remember, there's a lot of people who are going to be watching your live streams later, right, in the replay. So one tip I have for you is try not to dilly-dally too early on in the video. Like, how sometimes people start live chats and they wait 5 minutes before getting into the content. I would kind of dive right in, and don't forget to keep reminding people what it's about over time, because some people come in later. But we don't want the replay viewers to just sit there and wait, because then they'll leave. The replay viewers are, in fact, very valuable. So, Drew, good luck to you, and keep on keeping on. Bye. So, video. Use video. Send. So I sent that video, and we'll see what Drew says. Fantastic. So hopefully you like that example. And again, it doesn't take much time. It just takes some consideration. It's free to do, right? Which is really cool. So that was sort of a follow-up on Drew's stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I love live demoing this kind of stuff for you, and I hope that makes sense. We were on question number 2 here, which let me pull up my list again. Number 2 was, well, what's the best or last thing you bought that was actually helpful? Now, there's a question that came in from Building a Bassoonist here that said, "Hey, Sue, thank you so much for the super chat. I just saw that come in. Thank you so much. Love how Mr. Flynn takes the time to answer his DM." I can't get to everybody, though. That's the other thing. First of all, in Building a Bassoonist, I'll get to you in just a moment. But if Drew's a super fan, you literally just made his day. Yeah, and you know what? If he's not a super fan, maybe he'll be a super fan now, right? Or it's just one of those things. It's so easy to stand out. But let's see, where was I? Anyway, what happens? Sorry, I'm just all over the place right now. Anyone else happy to know that Pat doesn't use an iPhone? I do use an iPhone. I do use an iPhone. This case is, in fact, maybe what makes it look a little bit different. Anyway, let me get back to this question here. What happens if your audience is buying from you? What if your audience says when they reply, okay, what's the last thing you purchased that was actually helpful or related to blank? What if your audience is buying from a company that's much bigger and more established than you? Should you only reach out to other companies if they are on a similar level? No, I mean, there could be some cool partnerships, right? If it's a direct competition, then yes, I would say, well, let's not reach out to them and say, hey, how can I help promote your stuff, which would actually self-sabotage my own stuff. We don't need to do that. But we can ask further questions to these people who purchase and go, hey, what do you love about what they do? We can ask questions like, what made the experience great for you? And then we can at least incorporate these things into our own stuff, if that makes sense. Why are you sad, Jonathan, that I use an iPhone? I use an iPhone, and it's integrated to everything else that I do. Here, look, the video that went through for Drew came in. Let's see how that actually looks.
Hey
Hey, Drew, it's Pat here. In fact, I've actually been live streaming every day for the last 129 days, and I know how nerve-wracking it can feel. You're going to learn a lot just by doing it, and I would try to remain consistent as much as possible. You're going to learn a lot just as... So you all saw that just go through. We'll see how he replies. We'll see how Drew replies. I swear I did not pay him to be a part of this. Okay, so number one, we asked a question to our followers. Who here is working on video? And we can reply to those people in a direct message, have a conversation with them, understand a little bit more, and even build super fans at the same time. Number two, what's the last thing you bought that was actually helpful related to video? And then you can figure out, okay, what are people already buying and why do they like those products, and or reach out to those product companies and see if you can just establish an affiliate relationship with them, and using those conversations as conversation starters with those companies can be really great. What I was going to say earlier that skipped my mind here was, however, when you're starting out and you are a smaller brand, you in fact have an advantage over bigger brands like me or others, right? The advantage is you're able to make these kinds of direct connections through direct messages much quicker, right? And that's really cool because that's going to help you stand out. And although you might have a smaller audience, that smaller audience is going to be a small but very strong army of people, right? Ooh, we have Drew replying. We'll see what he says. All right. Next, we're going to go to Amazon. Amazon is a wealth. It's just, there's a wealth of things that you can do in terms of research and getting ideas on Amazon. So I know you're just playing around, Jonathan. No worries. I like the little teasing where it's safe and fun. It's all good. Amazon, a great place because it's a search engine. There's a ton of data on there that we could pull. And guess what? Again, this is free. I should have said these are 5 free ways that we can get ideas. Anyway, that's okay. We're going to go to Amazon. In fact, again, remember, Drew is replying now. Let's see what he says. It's like, I hate how you're using me as an example in your stream right now. It is a little Inception-like. Okay, so first thing we want to do, let's stick on this theme of video for right now, right? Let's go to all. I'm going to switch this to books. We're going to do research here on the books section of Amazon. Although you can use a lot of these strategies within other physical products that we're gonna talk about. But I'm going to go to books. I'm going to type in, video creation. Video game design, how to shoot video that doesn't suck. So here is a book that relates to shooting video. And again, that's just the topic that we're on. And this is Steve's video. It looks like it's performed very well, which is really cool. And it came out in 2011, which is really interesting. So anyway, here I want to understand a little bit more about, well, what parts of video, let's say I'm a blogger or I'm a YouTuber and I want more ideas for content. I'm here to get inspiration and motivation. I'm not here to steal. Just keep that in mind. We are here to plug in holes in our own brand, and we are here to get inspiration and motivation. And I'll show you how this works. So we are going to open this book. So here's Steve's book. I'm going to look inside. So let's look inside the book. And I'm going to look at the table of contents. So this doesn't always work. But let's say, for example, I just go, hey, shot list. Cool. 5 ways. So now I'm going to create a blog post. 5 easy ways to create a shot list for your next video shoot, right? Shot list mistakes newbies make. I'm going to go down here. Throw caution to the wind. This is probably about, the wind. I'm not going to go in here and copy. I want these to just be idea seeds. These are idea seeds. So throw caution to the wind. That's just making, and again, you're in creative mode here. So wind. 3 ways to block wind noise without a windscreen. So now I can create like homemade DIY ways to figure out, how to block the wind. Or the easiest way to remove wind noise from your videos post-edit. Right? So you see how I'm using these books as inspiration. I'm not going in here. I'm just kind of having them be seedlings of ideas for me to now be creative with, if that makes sense. Let's try one more. Planned stunts. Okay, that's pretty cool. 3 ways to add humor. 3 ways to add humorous stunts, or 5 examples of YouTubers using humorous stunts in their videos, and how you can use stunts safely too. Right? And again, I don't want to steal. I'm just having this person who spent a little bit of time already doing a lot of the filtering of what is important to talk about, what is not important to talk about, and I can just get inspiration from there to then shoot video. Now, this book seems very comprehensive. I mean, there's so many things here, including how to shoot wedding videos, graduations, other ceremonies. So this is like a video book for people who like legit do this for a living, versus somebody who's just starting out with video, it seems like. So that's just an idea for you. Now, let's go into another way that we can go into Amazon and do some research here. And I'm going to go back to Drew's message in just a minute here, because I think he sent something through all the way. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, go into the ratings. And then I'm going to go to the 3-star reviews. The 3-star reviews are my favorite. Here's why the 3-star reviews are my favorite. 5-star reviews are often sometimes from friends, family, or fans, and they're just going to share the best stuff. And a lot of times, the authors or the people who own these products on Amazon, they ask for favors, they ask for help, and the 5-star reviews are not that helpful, right? The 1-star reviews are also not that helpful, because they can just be people who are really upset. Sometimes I see 1-star reviews for people who received the package late, which had nothing to do with the actual creation of the thing itself. So I would just worry about looking at the 1-star reviews for quote unquote inspiration. There's a lot of negativity there, obviously. I love the 3-star reviews, because the 3-star reviews will tell you, here's what I liked about this, and here's what I didn't like about this. Here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like. And now I can, as somebody who's creating in this space, make sure to do the things that people are liking, or if I'm creating my own book or I'm creating my own product, make sure that when I create my own product, to incorporate those sorts of things into my product that, again, people like. And make sure to completely avoid the things that people are saying they don't like, right? If that makes sense. So let's just quickly go in here and see. So these are, again, reviews of this book, How to Shoot Video That Doesn't Suck. What a great title, by the way. It's okay book, but not worth my time. I think it's boring, kind of dry. The wording is kind of hard to imagine for a visual learner like me. Couldn't find the examples on the website mentioned. I felt bored after day 2. Okay, so now this is helping me go, okay, well, the information's good, but let me add more visuals in my own book, if that makes sense. I got some good information, but the author should have applied some of it to his writing, such as shorter is better. Oh, I'm guessing in his videos, he said, create videos that are shorter. Shorter is often better, but each chapter is full of filler that adds little. I almost quit reading third of the way through, agonizingly slow paced. Okay, so now if I'm coming up with a book idea, I might go, the shooting video shortcut guide, how to quickly, without the fluff, shoot videos that aren't terrible. I was worried about saying that doesn't suck, because that's the title of his book, but you see how I'm using this book to now go, oh, okay, let's make sure that I don't do that, right? So now I have ideas to include a little bit more visuals in the book, and also make sure that I actually can hone in on the fact that, okay, this book is going to be something that's going to, hopefully be quick for people to do so that they can execute on it. Now I'm getting ideas. Okay, well, let's put exercises. Let's give people the information quickly so they can go do the thing and do the exercises, if that makes sense. Cool. Consult the Blind Guy says, OMG, Quaranteam, my channel is about to hit 900 subs, 4 away. Congratulations. That's great. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's actually look at a physical product. Let's say I'm going to invent something like, I don't know, a tripod, GorillaPod. This is a very famous, if you will, very popular GorillaPod. This is a tripod that a lot of vloggers are using, right? They often use it in sort of this sort of situation here. I don't know if you could see that, but I don't know why that's not popping in here. But that's a GorillaPod. So let's look at the 3-star reviews. I'm going to go to ratings. I'm going to hit 3-star reviews. Loose joints. Sounds like somebody is maybe a little bit older, much like this tripod. No offense. Loose joint. Got this as a gift from my friend. Problem is, one of the joints is significantly weaker than the rest. Okay, so hey, if I'm building a tripod, I want to make sure it's super strong, that there aren't really as many joints and failure points, right? If that makes sense. Very functional, but does not support specified weight. I bought this tripod as a single solution for both my iPhone and Canon 77D. Works great with my iPhone, but with my camera, my 77D, it knuckles, slowly slips, and bends. The total weight of the camera is 3 pounds, while underspecified 6.6 it claims to hold. Okay, well, all right, I guess it can't hold that much weight. Let's try this one. Did its job, but not a must-own product. Why not? So here, this is what I love. Here's why it's effective, but here's where it fails, right? 4 stars, 2 pods for the head. So the head, a little bit bulky, a little bit hard to use. Lightweight, practical, less expensive. Let's see. Worked well, but needed something more substantial for the new mirrorless. Seems tough in the beginning, but gets weak fast. Now I can even pull out language that people are using, right? So, hey, if I'm inventing a tripod, well, hey, I'm going to create something that's strong, that doesn't bend, that could hold a lot of weight, that's a little bit smaller for travel. Hey, let's invent that, and let's call it the Switch Pod that allows it to be easily turned into tripod mode and just a snap. And of course, we built this specifically with as little joints as possible because we did the research. This is exactly the kind of research we did. And I've stood on this thing. Put the tripod down and I've stood on it. I'm 160 pounds. It did not buckle. This is made of aluminum. It's not going to bend. This is how we are differentiating ourselves. See what we did there? You see what we did there? There you go. Right, and it's thin. Look how small that is. This is smaller than like a penny. The width of the penny, not the girth of the penny. Girth, width, I don't know. So anyway, that's the second thing that we can do on Amazon. So first, we did book covers, looking at the book covers and inside the table of contents in books to get some ideas. Number 2, we looked at 3-star reviews. Question from Mindy. Teacher, Mindy. Do you use an app on your iPad that somehow flips the screen on your phone so you can film in the non-selfie mode, but you can see yourself still on your iPad? I'm looking for this app. Let's see. Let me see if I can understand. Do you use an app for your iPad that somehow flips the screen on your phone so you can film in the non-selfie mode, but you can still see yourself on your iPad? I believe that, and you can try this out really quick, if you are filming yourself, but then just turn the camera, it should flip to be able to see yourself and be landscape mode as well. I'm not quite sure, but again, hopefully this makes sense. Cool. Now, we are going to go into the third tip within Amazon. So let's go back to Amazon. And this one's a fun one. So let's go to Amazon here. And I'm going to go to books. And I'm going to go to, let's just say, business books. Now I want to go to, let's see. Actually, what I want to do is go coming soon. There we go. So I typed in coming soon, which then, for whatever reason, when I searched for the topic first, didn't pop up. But this is what I'm looking for. Under new releases, coming soon. Now I can go into the specific category of business. Where's coming soon? Okay, actually, no, here it is. I missed it. So I typed in business for books. I'm going to scroll down. I don't know why I didn't find it before, but this is what I look for. Coming soon. Coming soon. All right, now, look, these are books that are coming out. August 18th, 2020. It is currently July 26th, right? So that's August 18th. This one's July 7th, so it just recently came out. July 30th, August 4th, So here is the idea. I'm going to reach out to Shasta Nelson, The Business of Friendship, Making the Most of Our Relationships Where We Spend Most of Our Time. The Business of Friendship. So I could even go to Shasta here. She might have some other books. I can follow her, I believe, on... Can I find her Twitter account here? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Anyway, what I'm looking for is a way to connect with her, because I could reach out to Shasta and go, Shasta, I see that you have a book coming out on... because it's available for pre-order right now. Shasta, I see you have a book coming out next month. That's really cool. Guess what? I have a podcast, and I'd love to share your book on my podcast. And I would love to invite you on the show to talk about it a little bit. In fact, I'd love to buy a copy and give one away to my audience. How can we make this happen? I'd love to support you, right? Always coming from a place of service is a great place to go. Anything cameras, I can only stop in briefly. I just got back from my vacation yesterday and wanted to say hi. Hi, welcome back. And excited to see you dive back into video. So, do you see the power behind this, guys? A lot of times, these A-listers or authors, whether they're first-time authors or big-time authors, they know that during this time, in the lead-up to a book launch, they want to get as many eyeballs as possible on their book. So they are often creating space for themselves to go on as many of these runs as possible to say yes. They're going to be more likely to say yes because you are offering your platform in order for them to get more exposure, right? So this is a really great strategy when it comes to finding new guests for your podcast who are excited, who want to deliver for you, who you can make a connection with. This is how I got access to Gary Vaynerchuk. I saw that he had a book coming out. I didn't do it in this strategy. This Amazon strategy is a way for you. If you look up a book on business, for example, and you scroll down and you type coming soon, that's how you're able to make it happen. To figure out who's coming out with the book and who you can have a connection with shortly thereafter. This is how I got access to Gary Vaynerchuk. I reached out to Gary. He was coming out with a book. Jab, 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 right hook was the name of it. And I reached out. I said, hey, Gary, I'd love to buy 10 copies of your book and bring you on the show. And he said, absolutely. I'm saying yes to everybody right now, which is pretty cool. So this is a great strategy for you. Syed says, I didn't get any notification re the live stream. Did you tap the bell notification icon? If you tap the bell notification icon, that may help you. And again, this is one of the struggles of YouTube, is just their way of helping us be found, even from people who say they want to follow us and want our videos. They don't often do it for everybody. It depends on how you interact, and the fact that you're here may be more likely that it'll happen the next time, so I apologize about that. Communication in any other way, you intelligent Pat, as usual, thank you for this knowledge. You're welcome. Yes, and again, these are like tricks using things that we've already used, if that makes sense. Right? So much gold, Pat Flynn, you're welcome. So, chat, who is live here with me right now, type in your niche, whatever niche you're in, and I'm going to pick a few people at random and we can see who is coming out with a book soon related to or in that topic, and we can potentially find out a little bit more about them. In the meantime, while you're typing that in, I want to go back to Twitter. And I want to show you his reply. I'm going to hide one part that may not be something that I would want you to see. But here we go. This was Drew's message back. Bruh, geeking out a bit here that you messaged me. And then a video? Seriously? So you see people how how long did that take me? It was a 56-second video, right? I could have made it even shorter. But these connections that we make on social media, just take a moment, reach out to them on video. People are going to be blown away. If you're trying to build a brand, why would you not do this, right? So that's pretty cool. And then he said, you messaged me with a video. Awesome. I watched some of the income stream. It's been much of what has inspired me to start my stream. Cool. So he's probably not in today if he's not pointing that out already. Okay. Reminders through the stream for the stragglers is gold. Your tip to tell them why to watch, though, is the entire stream is very much on my list already. We'll see how the execution goes. Awesome. And I'm just going to say really quick, you got this. Good luck. Boom. So I've just created a moment that a person will likely remember, and it was super easy to do, right? So, hey, we can do that. We all have the ability to do that. Okay, so we got a number of niches that came in. So Save Like a Bear says, personal finance for first-time home buyers. So buying a home. Let's just try buying a home. First of all, you have access to these books here, right? Essential Guide to Buying Your First Home. This is a book that recently came out. It's #1 bestseller, so you could reach out to Nolo, I guess, is a... Well, I guess you're in the UK, so it might be a little bit different. But anyway, obviously, like I said earlier, you can go in here in the cover. You can find out more information about topics that you should be talking about, right? So do you talk about credit score? Do you talk about the neighborhood and how it affects home prices? Do you talk about, applying for loans? I'm sure you do, any of that stuff, right? Let's look at coming soon books related to buying a home, though. Let me go back. So buying a home, yep. Coming soon. So here, First Time Landlord, your guide to renting out a single family home. Well, let's connect with Janet Portman, attorney, Ilona Bray, JD et al., if we'd like. Oh, that's a Nolo book too. Interesting. How about David Osborne, a step-by-step guide to investing in real estate foreclosures? Insider's Guide to Buying and Selling Rental Real Estate. Ken Elroy, ABCs of Buying Rental Property, How You Can Achieve Financial Freedom in 5 Years. Ken, and September 29th. And I could, obviously read the description a little bit to understand if this person sounds legit, if I want to go. This person's forward, however, is by Robert Kiyosaki. So, hey, a Rich Dad Advisor book. Okay, let's reach out to Ken, for example. And it looks like he has a couple of other books as well. And reach out to them, right? So, hey, we just found some upcoming books and people that you might be able to connect with. This is coming out in February of... Oh, no, this is the older one. That must be a newer version. Yeah. Title will be released on September 29th. Okay, let's go back and let's find some other niches here. Let's see. Rex says data. Data in your life. I don't know. Can we type in life data? I don't know. That might be a little... We might need to figure out some keywords. Matched to his bear. All right, Rex. We're going to reach out to a Lorelei. No, just kidding. Why did that pop up? Oh, dates. Duh, like dating. Okay. Let's... And by the way, have you looked up superfans? So superfans, there's superfans, right? Let's scroll down a little bit. Yo, superfan, a hockey romance. Ooh, okay. That's not my book, nor does that look like me. Data analysis maybe is what we want to type in. This is hilarious. Okay, data analysis coming soon. Data analytics for pandemics. Let's see, Learning Spark, lightning fast data analytics. What if I type in like personal? Coming soon. Let's see. Doesn't look like there's much there. Anyway, it's going to take maybe a little bit of effort for different industries. Oh, here. Confident data skills. How to work with data and future-proof your career. Kirill. September 29th. Hey, I see that you have a book called Confident Data Skills coming out. I'm a data person too. I'd love to share your book on my podcast. I'd love to interview you, etc., etc., etc. Pat writes all kinds of books. Remember I said I wanted to write fiction? I never said, I never said what kind of fiction books I'd like to write. So, hey, maybe that is my book. All right. Let's do one more. Spanish travel. All right, this is for Go Spanish. I'm going to type in Spanish travel. I'm going to scroll down, coming soon. All right, let's see. These are Spanish books that are in Spanish. Here, look at this one. September 1st, Vámonos, San Juan, English and Spanish edition. So this looks like it's a children's book, a board book, right? So how cool would it be to connect with this author and say, hey, I have an audience of Spanish-speaking students, let's introduce your children's book and your children's book series to our audience. Maybe that would be fun and exciting. Oh man, I don't have a podcast yet. Well, you don't need to have a podcast in order to do some of this stuff. I mean, obviously, you can reach out to these people and promote them on your social media. You can promote them on your blog, etc. So that is a way that you might be able to do this. Anyway, we focused a lot on Amazon. Hopefully, this is making sense, and hopefully that's helpful. Cool. We got a lot more, by the way, people who replied to. In fact, this was the original question we asked. Who here is working on creating videos anytime soon? Or maybe right now. Let me know by hitting reply with your favorite emoji. Starting live stream tomorrow. That was Drew. Sydney. Great. Melanie. I can reach out to each of these individuals, even with a video or just text like we did with Drew. Recorded 10 videos for my first series on 10 ways to get off disability. To be prepared for live streaming pros. Nice. Over here, launch. Ush Magazine. Here at the end of the world, always editing. Cool. Using this time to work from home opportunity to hone my video skills. So look at all these people are different people who I could connect with similarly to the way that we connected with Drew, and we can go from there. So that's cool, right? Did you have Mark Dawson on your podcast to test the waters of writing novels, says Save Like a Bear? That's not why, but I definitely am interested in his work, and that interview was about the business of what he does, but I've always been interested in writing fiction. In fact, interestingly enough, and only a few people knew this, I had an idea for a book, a fiction book, dystopian sort of situation where people were living in the future, and I like time travel. It's not a time travel book. I'm not that smart to write something like that. But people were living in the future in an Earth where some of the population has left already, but it was going to be about the people who could not afford to leave and who had to figure out how to survive in an Earth that was just not going to be very conducive to living. And it was going to be a way, like they were literally going to be people and tribes, but instead of like, if you imagine, Native American tribes and how that used to be before, the United States was formed. Imagine that, except instead of lush and untouched land, it's broken down cities and trash heaps and garbage, everywhere. And it was going to be a book that would inspire people to be creative with what they have access to and inventing using trash to be able to survive. And every different tribe would have a different mask. And it's funny because now we're all wearing masks, but the tribes would be sort of, their masks would be essentially their tribe, and that's how they would know who's with who, and the masks would be filtering the pollution in the air and stuff. And then eventually they were gonna, go on a trek to find something, and then eventually find one of the last working cities that actually had, vertical gardens that actually had real food in there. I have a lot of ideas. Why am I saying what it was going to be? Because I have just not had the time to write it yet. And because I'm still considering whether or not I can, I don't know, everybody's wearing masks now. I'm like, hey, we're kind of living in this situation right now, which is kind of funny. Anyway, I do want to write it. I do want to write it. Cool. Okay. 2 more things in 5 minutes that I want to share with you that I'm not going to demo now because we've demoed a lot of things already, and I didn't know I was going to go. I didn't know it was going to happen. So Zenyan Vlada is asking really quick, what do you do if he hated it? That's funny. A lot of people hated that movie, especially the super nerds. So I can imagine. Let's see. I hope he's still friends with me. Vlada and Zenya says, what do you do when nobody comments on Twitter because you don't have a big following, just started? Try Facebook groups that are already active, where it's not your group, but it's a great place to start a conversation, right? LinkedIn, Instagram, you can go places where there are lots of people that aren't necessarily your big followings. And the cool thing about this is asking these questions, that doesn't feel like spam, right? So you're able to get access to bigger audiences, if that makes sense. Cool. So the other 2 things, I know that we're going to say 5, but I'm going to talk about these last 2 things really quickly, and they are still going to be helpful. So the 4th thing here is called sales page arbitrage, right? Sales page arbitrage. And that is The idea of going to sales pages that exist in your target space, right? Other people, other companies who are selling things to your audience, and looking at the sales pages to learn a little bit more about the language that you can use, the features that they're offering and what you can offer more of, getting an understanding of the price points that they're offering to get a baseline for where you might be able to price your own products. A lot of times we don't consider other people have done a lot of the heavy lifting for us beforehand. And what this is cool about this is that allows us to offer something even better or more clear, if that makes sense. We're just getting ideas. The hard thing is we do not want to, let me repeat, we do not want to steal. You can make things better, right? So if you see a headline that really captures your attention, please do not use that headline too. I've seen people use a lot of Ramit Sethi's headlines. And first of all, he'll call you out on it. And that's just, you don't want to do that, especially if you're selling to the same audience. People will see that, they'll recognize it, and you will get put in a spotlight that you do not want to be put on, right? So using sales pages that already exist. And Grandma Goody says, why not now? Perhaps because when you say yes to one thing, you have to say no to something else. Yes. I think that related to this fiction novel, I am reserving the next phase of my life about education. That's what I want to say yes to. I will then, and I can imagine being retired later and writing fiction novels all day long. But I think and that's very much for me, right? And I feel like that I want to first help others in a different way using the platforms that I have now as stepping stones toward education. And I'm still figuring, I mean, things are changing right now as we are speaking related to that, right? Which is pretty crazy. But do not plagiarize, please. Absolutely. Thank you, Robin. Mostly using the sales page to go, okay, well, here are the features that they're adding, right? So let's say they have 5 hours of video. Well, I'm going to make my course 3 hours of video, right? And really hone in on this is going to be something that is just as helpful, but will allow you to get things done more quickly, if that makes sense. I couldn't sleep at night if I was taking somebody else's stuff. Yeah, so bad, for sure. And then finally, number 5, doing a live demo, right? Doing a live demo. Danetta, trying to come through, but the filter here on YouTube is not letting you. Sorry about that. That stuff does not belong in the room. Let's see, live demo. Doing a live demo in front of your audience. This is a really cool thing because number 1, it demonstrates authority, it demonstrates vulnerability, it demonstrates leadership, kind of like what we're doing today. But I want you to see how you might be able to do a live demo that's for your audience too. Something that you could record and use later. And the way that I would position this would be related to something specific that you can teach. You know, I taught 5 different things today, or I've talked about 5 different things, this being the 5th one. But if you pick one thing specifically to teach on and do a live video on, or a live demonstration, or a webinar, or maybe it's a video that you record, but you happen to just be showing people the process live in that video, if that makes sense. Here's what I'd recommend doing. Create a juxtaposition between the free way to do something and the headache-free way to do something. Let me say that one more time. The free way to do something and the headache-free way to do something. So I've done this several times in the past, right? And they've led to some amazing income generation ideas. So keyword research being one of those topics. I did a webinar back in 2011 about keyword research in preparation to promote a tool that was going to help people with keyword research. Back then, it was called Market Samurai. I don't think that even exists anymore. Maybe it does, but I prefer things like Longtail Pro or Ahrefs. But those things weren't around at the time. So a free demonstration to watch me show you how to do keyword research for free. Very valuable, right? So what is that similar topic for your audience that people want to know about? And the fact that you give it away for free would be great. Right? Really cool. That can be repurposed as a video. I've had a lot of people find me through that video on YouTube. A lot of people register for the webinar. I can build an email list. You can do a lot of things like that. But in that training, in that live demonstration, I might spend, I'm going to walk people through all the process. It might take a half hour to get all the numbers and do the research and go to all the 5 different websites I need to pull out all that information. But then I'd show people how to use it, right? So now I'm giving away a ton of value. I've given away that thing for free, how you do the thing. And then I go, by the way, I also have a tool here that does everything that we just did in the last 30 minutes in legitimately just 5 seconds. Here's the tool. Here, let me show you how to use it. And if you so happen to have money to invest into this process, this is where I would recommend you invest. Here's my affiliate link to go through it. So this becomes a really fun thing that you could plan maybe a month out from now, an event that people can subscribe to or be a part of, or just a video that you start shooting now and then you release it later. But you create the process by which people can follow along, and they can't say anything to you like, hey, you're just doing this to make money. You've given them the process for free. Go do it for free if you don't have money. But if you do, go through my affiliate link. This tool will help you do it in 5 seconds, right? So you're creating that. Here's the free way to do it. Here is the headache-free way to do it. The free way versus headache-free way, right? So chat, let me know if that makes sense. This is a very powerful strategy to create a specific juxtaposition that could then lead into a second part of the conversation. Second part being, well, here's the tool, or here's my program, or here is my software, or what have you, right? Peasant says, man, pretty much missed the whole stream. Busy weekends, hashtag team replay. No worries. No worries. This is knowledge Pat is giving out, priceless. Thanks, my castle life. I appreciate you. And guess what? It's exactly 9 o'clock right now. Actually, a couple minutes over. But let me know, chat, what of these 5 things was the most helpful for you? Who here is working on blank, right? To start that conversation on who's working on that thing, and you can ask them questions about, well, what's it like working on that thing? What do you need help with? And really blow people's mind when you start offering value and doing research. Number 2, what's the last thing you bought that was actually helpful thing? And then you can actually figure out, okay, well, what companies might we want to start a conversation with to be an affiliate for? Number 3, going into Amazon and looking at the book covers, inside the book covers, to find out topics based on the table of contents that other people have already spent a lot of time and effort creating, and using that as, again, inspiration, not plagiarism. We do not want to do that. No copying, please. But using that as motivation to plug in seeds. And I showed you some examples of how we were able to take these topics that were in these books and turn them into video type content or list posts or things like that. Number 4, the sales page arbitrage idea, going into sales pages to see what people are already buying, to get an understanding of where we can start when we're creating our own stuff. And then number 5, the live demo for audience example, creating the free way versus headache-free way, and using that as an opportunity to get people into a program or some sort of software that would help people do that thing that was, yeah, free, but definitely a headache in a much faster time. So love the Amazon book chapters, tips, book, and Twitter idea. Free way versus headache-free way. Last one was the most helpful. Twitter info, looking at the 3-star reviews, Twitter, fantastic. So y'all got something here, and I just recommend that you take that moving forward and you try one, if not all of these things in your business as you move forward. So thanks for letting me live demo for you today. This was a lot of fun, a little bit challenging. I like a challenge. And I've been getting a lot of ideas for live stream topics from many of you. So after this video is done processing, I would love for you to come back, leave a thumbs up again here if you haven't already, but come back and leave an idea in the comment section, or if you're watching the replay right now, leave an idea for an upcoming live stream that you'd like me to do, whether it's to demo something or to just dive into a topic or a question that you might have that you think that the other rest of the community members here would benefit from. Let us know, and I look forward to serving you tomorrow. Again, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here, patflynn.com/theincomestream. And happy Sunday. Have a blessed day. Stay safe, stay well, stay happy. And yes, my kids and I, we're likely going to be on Twitch later today, probably around 2 or 3 p.m. Pacific. We may take a drive somewhere, so it may change into the evening. I don't know, but follow us, twitch.tv/hotcoalsonly. And we play games. We have fun. You see a little interaction and fun family banter between my kids and I, and you can have fun watching that too. So anyway, cheers. Take care. Thanks so much. You're amazing. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace out.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
You are amazing. You are appreciated. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are motivated. You are worthy. You are seen, you belong, and I love you for that. Peace out, y'all. Wrong one.